Hey, do you like fishing? I have friends that love to fish. One of them goes to the mountain streams in Colorado and he fly fishes. Others go to lakes here in Kansas to fish for whatever is biting. But fishing, I've never been a fan. Maybe I'm not patient enough, but many of Jesus' disciples were fishermen by trade. As we wrap up this segment of the Gospel Challenge, we come to a curiously wonderful passage. Many of you will read the entire 21st chapter of John's Gospel, but I'm going to focus my attention on verses 1 through 14. And here we find Jesus and the disciples. The disciples were in a boat. They were fishing. Jesus was on the shore. Like I said, I'm not much into fishing, so if I was in the story, I'd already be on the shore with Jesus. But let me point out a few things about what's going on. First, the disciples are fishing. Now, there's some people who criticize the disciples for going back to what they were before they started following Jesus. Maybe we should show them a little grace here. Their world had just been shattered when Jesus was nailed to the cross. And their world was turned upside down when they discovered Jesus was risen from the dead. I don't know about you, but when my world gets rocked, sometimes I need a little time to gather myself, collect my thoughts, get my feet under me. I don't think that they have abandoned their calling. I don't think that they've lost their way. They just went home. They went home to something familiar. They let the new reality settle down on their souls. But even if they were, in some sense, turning aside from God's calling, they were completely responsive to Jesus when he showed up, right? So whatever their motivation was for going fishing, they were open to and quick to respond when Jesus showed up on the shore. The second thing I'd like to point out is that Jesus shouted from the shoreline, telling the disciples where the fish were. And this is clearly a miracle. Jesus gave them the fish they were fishing for. When they got to the shore, don't miss this, they got to the shore with the catch of fish that he has just miraculously made possible. When they got to the shore, Jesus already had fish on a fire. Jesus already had fish ready for them to eat for breakfast. So it's curious and funny and remarkable that Jesus tells them to bring some of the fish that they had caught in their nets to be added to what he was already cooking. Here's the point. Jesus provides all that we have, everything that we catch in our nets. But Jesus invites us to contribute some of what we have, even though, number one, he provided it in the first place, and number two, he doesn't need what we bring to the table. Disciples of Jesus, it is all about him. It is all about Jesus. Are we listening for his voice? And are our hearts responsive to his call? And do we recognize the blessings that he has given to us? And will we give him what he has given to us? Father, in those times when we slip back into familiar territory, familiar patterns, familiar activities, open our eyes, open our ears to hear you calling us back to yourself. Make our hearts receptive to your invitation to join in what you are preparing. Amen and amen.